Okay, hold on. Let me try and do this all serious. Okay. Today, we're going to look at the circular repetition method. No, seriously, look at this chart right here. You see how chaotic it looks? Don't worry. Did I make you an ebook that breaks this whole chart down into separate sections that will help you apply this method or this idea, this framework? Of course I did. Did I put chapters in here for you to make it easy? Of course I did, because if you're new or if you're not new, you guys know I always say, just do one of the chapters, okay? I know, none of us have attention spans, but please watch this whole video. I promise you. You tell me if I'm wrong, you're gonna be so much better of a player on both a music theory and playing level. You're gonna dig it. Okay, let's get rid of that. Whoop! We're gonna move through all 9 pages of this chart, okay? And then I'm gonna show you how to kind of apply this circular repetition method, because guitar is nothing but what? It's just repeating, it's practice. It's repeating the same things, but the way you get better and better is to be more creative with your repetition, hence the circular part. Okay, we'll get to that. So you see a bar chord to a triad, G to B, G to B, okay? Again, all these charts are linked up in a nice, neat little package with my logo on it, okay? And I'm gonna explain how to use them all, okay? You will do what you do because you're you and I'm me. But, so G bar chord to G triad. And look, I even put the triad in blue for you, okay? So you need to connect that the triad lives inside the bar chord. And on the top left of every chart, I always put a little piece of music theory because I'm sick in the head for theory and I just love teaching it to you. And you should know it, because wouldn't you want to know it if you could? Okay, do you need to know it? No, but it will help you a ton. All right, so bar chord to triad. Triad is GBD. Burn that shape in your brain, okay? You do that, okay, till you get this. Okay, now let's go to the second chart, okay? And it's in direct relation to this chart, because why? It's a G major scale, and I went for it. I went for the gold here. I just did it all the way from low E to high E. So now on the top left, G, 1 chord. Obviously we're in the key of G. Well, not obvious, but to some of you it is. We're in the key of G, okay? Ionian's the fancy modal name, okay? Major, just a G major scale, okay? So I wrote out all the notes. G, A, B, C, D, E, 1 sharp, F sharp, G. And again, kept the triad in blue. It's inside of the bar chord and inside of the scale. So practice just running the scale, okay? Maybe this is your repetition part. We'll come back to the circular part, how we're gonna circulate around a central area and then we're gonna repeat patterns around that, okay? So let's go. I told you this lesson's gonna be deep, so just watch the chapters. Don't abandon me. All right, now of course, we're gonna go to an E minor bar and triad right here, okay? Almost played it in the wrong spot, okay? If I make any mistakes, they're staying in the video, and I'll just call out the word shake. So an E minor bar and triad. Why would I do that? Okay, well, here's why, because that's the 6th chord in the key of G. That's the relative minor. So boom. And did I keep the triad in blue? Of course I did. Okay. Bar chord, triad. Bar chord, triad. Bar chord, triad. Maybe put the pick down. Bar chord, triad. Bar chord. Watch my thumb. Okay? Now remember, what do I always say? Rhythm is and always will be king or queen. All right? So rhythm is everything, and that's actually what like a repetition and kind of a circular pattern will give you. It'll give you a flow. I'll get to that in a minute. We got to do this part so we understand the charts. Okay, you got that? All right, let's go on to the next page, which is what? Same thing. Just like we did G major bar scale, we did E minor triad, E minor bar triad, and now we've got an E minor pentatonic scale that lies right over the top of that, okay? And I did this for a very specific reason, which we'll get to, which is the whole kind of idea of this video. So just run it. E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D. And again, penta, 5, pentatonic scale. You're just stripping away a couple of notes. So you have E, G, A, B, D. And again, I want you to make the connection. You see the triad, how it lives right there in the blue colors, right? So E, G, B. So boop. Okay, so you got the bar chord, you've got the triad, and then you've also got the scale, okay? And you've got the triad. And again, we'll come back to it in just a minute. I'll show you some ideas of how to do this circulative repetition, okay? All right, let's go to the next chart. Here we go. Now this is fun. This is just a G5 power chord. I don't know why. I felt like it should be in yellow, right? But if you look on the top left, G5, power chord or interval? A chord is technically 3 or more notes. We have a G, 2 G's and a D. So really G to D, this is an interval, okay? There's a little bonus part here for you, G to D. What kind of interval is that? A perfect fifth, all right? So G, D, G, okay? So just 2 notes. I thought I'd give you something simple, okay? Now, same thing. I was like, you know what? Didn't put this here in original. I was like, you know, we got to throw a G major scale because it's right there. Look. Okay? Just 1 octave. So you've got G5, G major scale. Okay? All right, so very simple. All this is in the chart. I'm just setting this up for you, and then we're going to get into the fun part, okay? Now, of course, we got to go, we're just moving up the neck because we kind of want to circulate around the neck and throw some repetition in there, okay? So E major, E major, E minor bar chord, shank, E minor bar, okay? Again, inside of there, pay attention to that shape, that triad shape, E, G, B. 1 flat 3, 5, 1 minor 3, 5. And I kept it in blue, okay? So do this, go back and forth. I mean, in my mind too, this is kind of a circular repetition pattern right here too. So you're just going from bar to triad, okay? You guys know what's coming next in the chart, don't you? Yep, you're right. Another E minor pentatonic scale because it's right on top of there. So I'm trying to build other connections in here for you. And that's why I tell you, everyone's going to connect bigger or smaller dots. Smaller meaning maybe less information, bigger dot. If you connect the biggest dot of them all, you're going to do this whole lesson, connect it all seamlessly with flow and rhythm. But that's a high level thing, but I know some of you are going to get it. So E minor pentatonic, okay? And again, I kept the triad in blue because I want you to see that connection, right? Okay. All right, so here's the little cherry on top part. Some of this is going to go right over some of your head, but some of you are not. So I had to do this. I was like, you know what? This lesson is going to be crazy deep and long, which I seem to be doing some of these lately. You guys seem to be digging them. You can handle it. This is a mode. A mode is a mood. That's it. Don't get confused by that. I've done a couple cool lessons on modes on this channel. Excuse me. Look back on that. Now, top left, D. 5 of G, okay? D would be the major 5 in the key of G. So Mixolydian is a major mode. And all a Mixolydian is this. See how I wrote out D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, and I just go back to D to complete the octave. You notice those are all the same notes as a G major scale. Just think of this as a mixed up G major scale from a different starting point. Now, I did it on 1 string because I thought it was kind of cool. Just move up. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, right, D. And just go back down. If you go back to that like a G open chord or G bar chord, you can hear how it wants to go back home to the 1. Okay, so. Especially because D is the dominant 5, okay? So there's your bonus part, and there's so much we can do with it. Are you guys following me? If I lost you, have you melted down yet? Okay, let's get into the fun part. I'm gonna try and chuck 2 of the charts up at once because I want you to have the 3 components. So whoop, let's go to that. Let's go back to the first one. Now you have both the G bar and triad and the G major scale, okay? And you don't have to use the whole major scale. This could just literally be your one focus of this whole lesson. You choose. Again, I put chapters in here and I'm cramming a lot in here. It doesn't mean, just because I do that doesn't mean you have to watch all this. So I want you to do this. Here's kind of the circular repetition, right? Go bar chord to triad, and then do a little kind of repetitive lick out of the G major scale, okay? Now, if I fall apart, it's okay, but try and keep a flow going. So let me think here. I'll go on bar chord, triad. Let me see if I can get that solid first. Okay. Okay, so I'm always circulating back or coming back home. Think of like the part you circle around as home. and I'm using the harmonic part. I'm using the bar chord to the triad, and then I'm throwing in the repetitive part, okay? And you know, yeah, the bar chord to the triad, that's repetitive too. It's all in the same, okay? But what I'm doing is I'm coming back and just throwing in a lick from this, okay? The whole point of this video and this kind of style of practice is so that you develop different styles or different patterns. Like, so you're gonna play repetitive to burn it in your brain, right? You're gonna study the theory. That part's gonna be repetitive. But you're gonna be creative and use your musicality in order to sound good. It could just be one note, all right? So watch the bar chord, triad. This will probably be my longest video I've ever made for a lesson, so sit tight. Okay, so all I did there is I just played like little licks out of the major scale, but I kept coming back home, okay, circulating back home to the bar chord to triad. To keep that rhythm going. Now that time I was just playing with my thumb. I had the pick tucked away. So you guys see how many techniques from the technical side of things you could pack into these. So again, don't think just because I present something to you that's crazy long and deep, you have to do the whole thing. I'm always going to bookmark chapters in here, make these books for you, and let you ride with it however you want to ride. Because you're you, and I'm me, right? Okay, unless we're in the Matrix, and I don't know who we are. But this lesson feels like we're in the Matrix. So you see that? So there's an idea there. Now, we're going to go to the next two charts, which is going to be the E minor bar triad and E minor pentatonic. All right, there's a funny little story. Kind of embarrassing, but I fixed it. So the last video I made, I did this E minor here, this E minor bar chord and triad at the 7th fret, but I had made the chart where it was moved up here. Whoops. But would you guys believe it? 4,000 people plus watched that video. Only 2 of you pointed it out. But I fixed it in the ebook. Okay, so bar chord, triad. Kind of the same concept as like the G bar triad scale. Watch. Again, what did I do there? Circulating around the bar chord and the triad, and I'm playing like little repetitive licks out of the minor scale, okay? Now, again, if you want to break this down and simplify it even more, there's a lot of technique going on here. You could just try and get the bar chord to the triad, okay? So you're just, that's almost like the whole concept in one little tiny piece, one tiny little like framework, right? So bar chord, triad, okay? Because what you don't want to do is you don't think about this. You don't want to start adding all these other pieces if your rhythm just falls to you know what, right? So you want to, and again, if you want to keep it to the harmonic component without the scales, okay? I'll keep these charts up. You could go E minor, bar, E minor triad. You go G bar to G triad. And how will you know that? Well, because I put it in the ebook below for you, and I'm showing you right now. So watch. So what if I do like, that's like a circular thing right there, right? So E minor bar, E minor triad, loop around to the G, okay? Bar chord to the G triad. I told you guys this is deep. Too bad I can't go like that, like a circle and nail it in rhythm, but watch this. So I'm gonna play without a pick on this, watch. I love this little pick and flick. Here we go. Okay, bar, triad, G bar, triad, G bar, triad. Back to E minor, pen, bar, triad, G major. Okay, now if you're feeling brave, maybe you throw a little lick out of the G major scale before you go back. So like this. See if I don't shank this. I'll play that thing. See how simple that was? But it just broke up. It broke up the repetitive part. It's almost like you want to take repetition, which you have to have, but it's more like creative repetition, right? So. Okay, so you guys see? You following me? Or if you're confused, drop a. If you're still here, if I haven't scared everyone away, if you're still here, You were brave. Just drop the word jellyfish in the comments, all right? Right, I love jellyfish. All right, let's move on to the next two charts. Okay. Now we're going to go to the G5 chord and then the little G major scale. Now this is a little simpler because you get to play a little 5 chord, try interval, boop, 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 and you got the major scale right there. Real simple. Like nice and tight, nice and compact. So we're circling around, okay? Like think of like the wagon circling, right? The G5 chord, circling around that, we're circling around it with our rhythm, but we're also circling around it with little repetitive patterns out of the G major scale that's right there, like these charts. So I'm gonna throw in those octaves. So, again, sometimes you just got to break this down into tiny segments. I'll repeat this again. I will repeat my words, which are just take one chapter in here and get that super solid and see how creative you can be with just that. Like, limit yourself to a 5 chord and a major scale and see what you can come up with. Watch this. So there's that. You guys following me? Okay. And again, you don't have to do what I do. I'm just showing you an idea or giving you a starting point. Everything's in this ebook below, so get that. That's the most important. And then let me know how it works out for you. Okay, let's go to that last E minor bar triad and then the E minor pentatonic. So you have 2 E minor pentatonic positions. You have 2 G major scale positions. You've got multiple bar chords and triads, but in the same key. All right, now, so same thing, bar chord, triad. Now, what's kind of cool about this one is you're barring up at the 12th fret, and every spot you play on the guitar has a different feel. That's why you want to have a circular, repetitive, like framework to your practice, right? It's here's where you hit plateaus. You pigeonhole yourself. Let's say if you every single time you wanted to play something out of an E minor pentatonic or in the key of G major, you went up, you defaulted to this pentatonic. And I know, drop me a comment, be honest, are there some of you that do this? That's what I'm trying to help you not do. Some of you are always gonna default to this, okay? With zero understanding of how it connects on a theory level. Again, you don't have to have it, but my question would be to you this: if you could have the technical playing be a total great guitar player and know what you're doing on a theory level, wouldn't you want that? I would. Okay, so bar chord, triad, bar chord, triad, bar chord, triad. Run the scale. Repetition, circulating. We're circling around the bar chord and triad, and then. Okay, again, get rid of the pick. Pick and flip. Bar chord, triad, bar chord, triad. Take the bar chord away and just get a rhythm thing going. Maybe that's part of your repetition. Just the triad. Maybe you do this. This is another idea. Again, use your musicality, but I would try this. I would do just the triad. I wouldn't even play the bar chord and just see if I can get a triad to a rhythmic thing, because James Brown said every instrument is a drum. I love that. It's so true though. So what? Rhythm. Not playing any notes. Keep rhythm is king, okay? Okay, 2, try it. Maybe slide into. Okay? Now to loop back to it, we just did that little 5 chord, okay? This is like a money move right here. If you guys have all heard this. This is like I'm just gonna throw in some bonus sections in here, but so we got this bar chord of this triad. If you play that 5 chord, watch real close. If you take your ring finger, your 3rd finger, slide up to the 14th fret inside of this E minor pentatonic or E minor bar chord shape, you can hit an inversion. You guys have all heard this. Listen, here's the 5 chord to sliding an inversion seamlessly into the E minor pentatonic, E minor bar chord, E minor triad area. Okay, watch this. Again, 5 chord. Okay, you see that? Again, I just had to throw that in there while I was thinking about it. I was improving. Okay, the circular what's the method called again? Such a mouthful. All right. So you guys see, now let's go to the cherry on top, the last page in the ebook. And this is just like if you want to do this. Again, I told you what this means. Do not fear the modes. All a mode is once you kind of learn the order of them, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, which is the natural minor, and Locrian, all you're doing is rearranging that major scale into different starting points, different flavors. So I would practice this. Now you can do this 2 ways. I didn't give you a D major bar chord right here. Okay, but what you could do is go from that to the G, because we're in. This is just a rearranged G major scale. Okay. Now what's cool about this is you could take part of this G major, G major, which is D Mixolydian, okay? You could take part of this and maybe like run a little octave lick out of it and then go back to like the G bar chord or hit the D bar chord and then to the G. So for example, let me just make something up. So again. Alright guys, so let's see if we can just kind of link it all together in a musical way. And number 1 rule, try and keep that rhythm train going, okay? And when your rhythm starts to fall apart, roll back, do less, okay? So let's do something simple, okay? G bar to triad, G bar to triad, E minor bar to triad, get rid of the pick. Oh wait, some D Mixolydian too. How did I do? Alright, I told you guys that was gonna be nuts. Is this like 12-hour long lesson? Let's see if YouTube even knows what to do with this. All right, so just think, repetition, circulate, come up with a central idea. Okay, you guys can create your own. This is a great framework to re-gear your brain into having really efficient practice. All right, and guitar's hard. I'm gonna be a straight shooter. It's not easy, but you just need to do stuff. So if you can, just go to one area or one set of charts, okay, like bar chord, triad, scale, and just do that. Be as creative as you can there, and then connect the next one. Or if you're a total beginner, just go to that 5 chord right here, G, and just practice in that little G major scale right there, just 1 octave. Because what you're gonna have happening too is you're gonna have all these light bulb moments. You're gonna be in areas, and you're like, oh my gosh, I see that triad, or I see that interval, or oh, that's been here in front of me for years, or maybe you didn't see it. That happens all the time. That's actually what makes guitar really cool to me, or music, is that it's endless discovery. It's deep, deep, deep like the ocean. All right, I've said enough. Drop jellyfish, your favorite sea creature, in the comments. Let me know if you can handle these long, deep videos. Took me a while to make the charts. Hopefully I didn't botch any of the charts. If I did, call me out. I'll fix them and re-put it in the Dropbox. But link below. Get it. If you're new, would love to keep you. Hit the like button. I said enough. Time to circulate around the neighborhood, which is your guitar neck, and get some creative, repetitive patterns going and licks and, be you. See you in the next video. Peace.